Every JPEG NFT will go to zero. Every single one.
Are you working for Binance?
Chinese spy right here.
Wait, you connected that dot. I did not say that.
In WikiLeaks email leak with Hillary Clinton's staff, they said that they were surprised that I didn't back down after they ran their advertising campaign and that I doubled down on my position. I gave a 2-hour interview to ABC once, and they literally used 30 seconds of it where I was sort of stuttering or stammering instead of the 2 hours. The media really wanting to create a villain and create a story, and they're doing it with Elon Musk as we speak, right?
When that drug takes pennies on the dollar to make.
It doesn't. You're wrong.
I don't know a lot about this.
But you want to get your ignorance
in. Martin!
I gave out my cell phone number. And I said, if anybody can't afford this drug, call me. I didn't get one call.
You're very well spoken.
I'm really not. I'm a kid from Brooklyn that grew up in the hood.
I mean, that's exactly what a well-spoken person would say.
You can ask the question instead of conjuring some crazy conspiracy theory.
I'm like, what is token, Martin? Instead of ridicule, why don't you educate, Martin?
I'm trying, but you're the one who said,
this is an alternate account. Like, I'm supposed to know that. Who the fuck's supposed to know that? Nobody.
What is more interesting than the FTX is you. You pissed off a lot of people. I don't know why.
Well, I'm a pretty normal guy. I think I went through a media assassination that was unprecedented. I'm a skinny computer nerd. I was a programmer as a kid. I worked at Jim Cramer's hedge fund when I was 16. I was like a precocious young whatever. I got into pharmaceuticals and I traded pharmaceutical stocks. I care deeply about patients. I've made brand new medicines. I've invented medicines from scratch. I've researched a lot of medicines. I've gotten drugs FDA approved. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people think I'm the pharma bro, which is what the media called me. But I'm a pretty hardcore sort of biochemistry person, and I've led teams of researchers and chemists to success. And in pharma, I've bought some drugs that I've raised the prices of. I think that I've done that ethically, intelligently, carefully, deliberately, not, in this slapshod, half-assed manner or this crazy sort of, maniacal manner. And I think that there's this interest that we see all the time now from the media that they want to make a story that sounds exciting. And a person holding back a life-saving medicine because he wants more money sounds exciting. That sounds like a crazy story. But the reality is far, far different from that. This drug was not going to be available unless its price went up. There are a lot of drugs that just don't get made unless people pay for them. And a lot of people expect that these products, because they're medicine, they should be free or that they should be at a price that makes sense for them. But the reality is the economics of pharmaceuticals are very complex. There are many drugs like the drug that I was involved in that only have a handful of patients that need them. When you need a BuzzFeed one-click, kind of line, you can lie and you can make these things sort of more salacious than they are. But this has happened hundreds of times in pharma. There are oftentimes drugs that just don't make sense to sell at a certain price. And it's really not some malicious intent on mine. I love patients. I do my best to help people who are sick with rare diseases. I have hundreds of friends that I still stay close with that are in families that have these rare diseases. So ultimately, the people in pharma that understand this, but it's easy to shake your fist and get mad at reading some kind of article about, a guy who hiked drug prices rapaciously and without, any kind of thought behind it and is just some bro that is trying to make money. That's not who I am.
It's not just me, like a whole group of people watch the media just lie on this guy in a way I've never seen before. And it is ridiculous how many people believe these lies.
Like, I love medicine and I care deeply about healthcare, but it is still a business. Unfortunately or fortunately, depending how you look at it, I think it's a good thing, but it is a business in this country. And if you don't believe me, go ask a doctor to do surgery for less than $10,000 and you're not going to get it. It's a very sort of different world we live in America. And now, if you don't like that, it is what it is. Unfortunately, it's the way it is, and it's not changing anytime soon. And we have to live with the system. In my opinion, it's a benefit. I think that capitalism can create treatments and cures that wouldn't exist otherwise. But, again, it's a long debate. But people have used me as the fulcrum or stand-in for that debate to say, okay, well, this is the problem. Guys like him. When you hear pharma, you think about the opioid addiction epidemic. You think about, all the bad things, but you don't think about a lot of the cancers that have been cured or treated much better with new medicines, or the Hep C cure, or things like that have really things that I think drug industry is proud of. So it all boils down to the pharma stuff. And I think people felt like I was really disrespectful and kind of, glum or whatever about it. And to me, I hate politicians. When I went to DC, I made that clear that I don't trust these people any more than anybody else. And I would fight with people like Hillary Clinton, who made a whole World Series ad about me, and Bernie Sanders and others, AOC, where, ultimately I don't trust those people. I don't think that they should be dunking on me at my expense. And that, if anything, I tried to turn the tables on them. And that was really surprising to them that somebody would dare throw rocks at the crown. And I don't view them as a crown. I view them as what's wrong with this country, most politicians, right or left, and that includes Trump. And I think that, they can kiss my ass. And that wasn't the thing they wanted to hear. They wanted to hear me cower in fear, and they put me in jail. But ultimately, I'm going to do me regardless of what anybody says or thinks. And I'm a capitalist. I'm not afraid of making a profit. I think crypto has a lot of that ethos. But anyway, I hope that helps you get a picture of who I am.
One specific thing I'm seeing a lot of is this Daraprim?
Yes, Daraprim is a medicine that I raised the price of.
It went from $13.50 to $750 per pill.
Correct. That sounds like a crazy number, but it really isn't. Daraprim, you got to take about 50 pills. So if you do the math, it's about $40,000. There are $1 million drugs in America. $1 million every year for the rest of your life. So do you know the names of those drugs? Any of the people that say that they don't like Martin Shkreli? Well, tell me about those drugs. How do people pay for that?
Wait, hang on now. That's a fallacy. That's an argument. You cannot justify your argument with other up. If you're saying
that's my point, is that it's very regular and normal for drugs to cost $1 million a year.
Okay.
Or $500,000 a year, and the system pays for them. People don't cry about shortages in those medicines because there are none. But if you want to yell about a $50,000 drug, how do you think that people pay for a $500,000 drug or $1 million drug? Those drugs are paid for, and they're viewed as miracle drugs, and they're excellent. So why do I have to sell my drug at pennies on the dollar on a comparative basis? In fact, I would say that our drug is extremely cheap, even at that $750 price, because it's a one-time cure. You don't have to take Daraprim for more than 30 days. Those other drugs you have to take for the rest of your life. In fact, there's a drug called Soliris. It's $650,000 a year. You have to take it for the rest of your life. If you take it for 20 years, you have to pay this company $12 million. Nobody has that kind of money. And of course, insurance pays for it. So the point is, people don't understand the pharmaceutical industry. If there's somebody here from Pfizer or Merck and they want to say, I don't like you, Martin, and here's why, then I'd be curious. But people who don't know anything about pharma want to throw rocks and say that, this is a problem or something like that. It's so sophomoric. You wouldn't respect somebody who came out here and said something like that. So I don't necessarily respect somebody that comes out here and says, I think you made a mistake when you raised the price of this medicine. Well, what do you know about medicine? And that's kind of the attitude that sort of got me a bit in hot water, because I sort of was unapologetic about it and a little bit defensive, but I also know a lot about pharma. And it's I've heard people say that insulin costs nothing to make, and that it doesn't make sense that insulin costs what it costs. And I'm sitting here saying, I understand you're frustrated by the price of insulin, but it doesn't cost nothing to make. It's very hard to make insulin, as a matter of fact. It costs several billion-dollar plant to make insulin. So it's not free to make insulin. It's not easy at all. Making drugs is very difficult. It's very regulated. It costs a ton of money. You don't just sort of mix some stuff up in a beaker and serve it out to patients. It's a very, very, very difficult problem that requires clean rooms and all kinds of qualifications that are really, really rather difficult. And that's why drugs are expensive. And you can't shortcut that kind of stuff. So the point is, this is a very nuanced field. I found it difficult over the years to have sort of discussions with people that have zero understanding of the industry.
I have zero understanding of the industry. This is the perfect conversation to have. I'm not saying you shouldn't raise it. I'm just asking why you raised it.
Sure. So this is a drug that the manufacturer was considering abandoning, because there are other drugs that you can use to treat this disease, which is something else that a lot of people got wrong. They thought this was the only drug that could potentially treat this illness. That's completely wrong. There's a drug that costs $1 called Bactrim that is easily as good as Daraprim. But the media was so obsessed with saying this was the only medicine, and it was a life-saving medicine and stuff like that, that they actually were doing me a favor by saying that, because people really believe that. Most of our doctors switch to the cheap drug, the $1 drug, but half of them stick with our drug because it's covered by insurance and stuff like that. So anybody that couldn't afford it, so to speak, even though these drugs are covered by insurance, could have just used the $1 drug, but the media did such a good job of advertising my own medicine for me that it was the one life-saving drug and this guy's holding it back, that, I think it was really sort of the media really wanting to create a villain and create a story. And we know that they do this. We're doing it with Elon Musk as we speak, right? It's this guy, as we all know, he's buying this company and he's trying to make it work. And all you hear is, that he's hurting free speech, or that he's, a Republican sympathizer, or God knows what.
What is the active ingredient in Daraprim?
Pyrimethamine.
Okay. And so it looks like it's 25 milligrams, and you're saying I could just buy that instead of buying Daraprim. So there's
pyrimethamine is Daraprim.
Okay. Yeah, the active ingredient though. And I'm looking at I'm trying to understand your pills more, because you're saying I could buy the active ingredient for $1. Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is there's another drug called Bactrim, which is called trimethoprim, which...
Oh, so it's not a 1-to-1. You were saying you said it was identical.
No, it's not identical. It works as well.
I don't know. Like, to me, it sounds to me you raised the tablets overnight from $13.50 to $750 because of this active ingredient. The paramethamine. I don't know how to say it. So let me go over to Fax real quick. Fax, do you know who Martin is?
Yeah, I heard of Martin. How you doing, Martin?
Good, how are you?
The media was trying to paint these antics with the drugs as prohibitive to patient access. But you're saying if it wasn't for your work, that patients wouldn't be able to access these drugs. Why was it that it was so difficult to communicate that fact to the media if that was the case, that in fact you're actually helping patient access?
I tried. I gave a 2-hour interview to ABC once, and they literally used 30 seconds of it where I was sort of stuttering or stammering instead of the 2 hours. It wasn't a live interview, and I learned the media's tricks. And I've learned that, it's really hard to sort of talk to the media because they don't care about the truth. They care their business too. They care about revenues and earnings. Their margins are actually higher than drug company margins. I once went on CBS because they were ridiculing the EpiPen price increases. And I said the maker of EpiPen makes less money than CBS. So you think your business is more important? You deserve higher margins because you peddle advertising, news, reality TV? That stuff's more important than medicine? I think the EpiPen maker deserves to make a 20% margin, but they don't. They make a 10% margin. So what's wrong with drug companies making margin? Why is that bad? Why do we hate this industry so much that we won't even let it exist? But we have no problem with Facebook having a 50% margin. And we're willingly giving them our content and letting them take it and use it like it's theirs. Every video you post, every tweet that you do, right? We're letting Twitter advertise on us. And they're not giving us $1. But pharma that saves lives, that makes medicines that help us live long, this is an industry like we're ashamed of, and we don't like it when they make money. To me, it's just this broad hatred for pharma that has existed well before me and will exist after me. And it's just something that we just don't respect this industry for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, to me, you're just rinsing insurance companies. Did insurance did they not cover this medication?
We didn't have one insurance company that didn't cover it because it's a life-saving medicine. They always cover it. The only thing that happened is, in fact, the insurance companies liked it. So what's funny about insurance is I had raised price of drugs like this 7 times. And in fact, many times I was told that I was doing a good thing for patients because these were sort of out of the way weird diseases. Like this disease pyrimethamine treats is toxoplasmosis, which is not a common disease at all. It's very, very rare. Only a few thousand people get it. We gave away 65% of our medicine for $1. So we had only a couple hundred paying customers. And those were paid for, of course, by insurance. Nobody pays out of pocket for medicine. And so ultimately, this whole thing was a ruse. Nobody went without our drug. And again, there are alternatives. You could have used this other drug I mentioned, Bactrim, which is a widely known, widely used antibiotic that works just as well. There's proof out there that shows it is as good as pyrimethamine. There's no need to give pyrimethamine at all. There are secret emails that were leaked that said, I really worry that after we raise this price, that people are just going to use the other one, that we're going to lose 95% of our market share overnight because people will just say, all right, cool, this guy wants to go ham, we'll just use Bactrim. What's funny is that's not what happened. Half of our patients went to Bactrim, half of our doctors left, and the other half said, you know what, I'm going to stick to pyrimethamine. It's still covered by insurance, so I'm going to use that. So again, a lot of this was, in my opinion, just dressing up a bad guy. And once there's a bad guy, usually you're going to get an indictment and an arrest. Look at Harvey Weinstein. Did Harvey Weinstein commit a crime? Well, that's not what's important. What's important is that people didn't like Harvey Weinstein and that the government was able to figure out, okay, what crime on the books can we use to point at Harvey Weinstein and make us criminal? Some of these events that Harvey did were years after the fact. It was not really clear to me that there was a judicial argument for this. Nevertheless, he was so hated that, look, you got to arrest this guy, and he's got 26 years in prison. I don't like Harvey Weinstein at all, but the point I'm making is that the guy was very rapidly sort of enemy number one. And then, oh, what do you know? Now he's arrested. So it's very easy for the enemy of the public, whoever that is. Right now, I think it's going to be Sam Bankman. That you're going to see enemies of the public will often, because there's aspiring politicians and aspiring sort of prosecutors, that their goal is to say, if I'm the guy or the gal that puts this person in handcuffs, I'm going to have a press conference and I'm going to be in the news and I'm going to be important. And this is something that's going to be good for my political career.
Oh, look, I heard you're involved in, and you also said Sam's going to be, the guy that's actually going to catch the most flack is CZ. I'm looking at CZ. I'm saying, he's putting out this, I may buy an FTX, and then all of a sudden pulls out the next day. Come on, man. The writing's on the wall. I think you could be working for all I know. Yes. I don't know. Are you working for Binance?
Chinese spy right here.
No, I didn't say that. Wait, you connected that dot. I did not say that. Are you working for Binance? What I asked.
No, I don't work for Binance. I don't give a about Binance. I hope they burn in hell. I just think that, I think what they did is perfectly legal, by the way. I mean, he's no obligation to buy FTX or not buy FTX. They were running into trouble because they were out of money. You can see on chain exactly when they stopped processing withdrawals. They needed the money. They know they were running out of it. They begged this guy for help. He amazingly was willing to give it to them. And I think realized there's nothing in the books, that they're missing way more money than they said they were. They don't need 1 or 2 billion. They need like 10 billion. And Binance doesn't have that kind of money, to be frank.
Okay. I mean, you think he didn't know all this going into this information?
Sam is a huge liar. I think that's clear. He lied to everybody. He took people's money. He gambled it recklessly. It's gone. He needed a lifeline, so he went to his original investor. That investor wanted to help him, probably felt bad for him, said, I'll do what I can. Sam lied to him. They were able to put the Band-Aid on for a minute. The investor looked under the hood and said, whoa, this is way worse than you told me. I'm out. And because I think he would have loved to buy Binance. I mean, what FTX? I mean, what a great coup de grace, right? Wow, I crushed this company and now I'm buying them out. It's too bad even for him. I think we're going to see the FTX bankruptcy filing. We're going to see that Sam's in a lot of trouble, and that whatever happened here is much uglier, I think, than we think. Now, I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, then you're right, and I stand corrected. But we'll see what the next few days brings, I think.
Someone's saying, ask him if he really talked to a friend that said Solana offices are empty.
Yeah, I have a photo of it. It's remarkable. Now, that's just the New York office, at Empire DAO. I think Solana's price speaks for itself. And listen, I can't cause a run on Solana. Solana has 1 billion tokens, right? that are coming I don't know how to put it. They're coming available.
They're getting unstaked. Yes, they'll be getting market dumped. We are going to zero with haste. Yeah, it's going to zero.
Yeah. So
or if this is complete fear mongering at the moment, this is complete manipulation of human emotion, and then we'll have some hero come in like, oh wow, this is our savior. So maybe that happens as well. I'm not quite sure.
I guess future prices for a living, but it doesn't mean I'm good at it, and it doesn't mean that I'm always right or ever right. So it is what it is. You know how the markets are. We don't know the future price of any asset with any certainty.
Oh, I do. That's the difference. I know the price of every asset in the near future.
Back then, the kinds of people that were attracted to Martin were probably still to this day some of the most intelligent people that I've ever met in my life. There was a community that gathered around him when all this stuff was going on. And we basically watched the media just straight up lie about him. Someone said, why didn't you speak out? He did, all the time. He was online all the time, talking about all of these things and giving clarity for all of these things. But you could listen to him and understand kind of what was going on behind the scenes. And even Martin would he would say things openly, if you can't afford this drug and you need this drug, just call me, just come talk to me. I will give it to you. But then you turn on the TV and you see the exact opposite. It's kind of just boring at this point, right? It's like
maybe for you, but I think there are, you know the story, but I think other people maybe don't, and they are interested. Otherwise, there wouldn't be anybody here, or people would be telling him, this is boring, this sucks, change the subject. It's funny, I gave out my cell phone number, and I said, if anybody can't afford this drug, call me. I didn't get one call. I said, here's an email, dedicated email. You have trouble affording this drug? Get this email. We had 2,000 customers. That's it. you can almost write down and know the names of all your customers. Like we had 80 people at our company working day and night. If you couldn't afford this medicine, get it to us. We'll FedEx it to you. I'll bring it to you personally. Like there was no one that couldn't get our drug. I think that, that was just a myth that was sort of assumed, because I think people don't understand that there are a lot of expensive medicines. A lot of cancer drugs are $100,000 or more. So the system has evolved. And like you said, it would be a fallacy if I was saying, oh, well, that's bad, so I'm not as bad. No, that's not what I'm saying. I think it's a good thing that there are expensive medicines. I think it's a good thing that we can prize innovation and save lives by incentivizing innovation. But the point is the system has evolved to be able to pay for very expensive drugs through the method of spreading those costs out amongst a large group of people. The U.S. Drug industry is $300 or $400 billion. So we're able to sort of have lots of different great medicines that are insured because we all sort of kick in and pay for it. And one drug like Daraprim, which sold $50 million, it's a drop in the bucket. It could not affect the insurance system. There are gigantic drugs that don't affect the insurance system. No one drug changes the insurance system. So I think in general, like there was just a lot of misplaced anger and blame. And I kind of had fun with it at first. I didn't believe that people would give a about this. And when Hillary Clinton started tweeting at me, my first response was LOL, which I think was, she didn't like that. Like, it's my product. In this country, we're allowed to price our product wherever you want. If Twitter said an advertisement on this place is $1 million, that's up to Elon Musk, man. And every single person here has a job where they have to decide, or some boss has to decide, what the price of that principal product is. Think about what job you have. There's a product your company sells, and the price of it is some product that somebody decided. It was not decided by the US government. It's decided by the entrepreneur that places the price of the product and thinks about, okay, what is best for everybody here? And I did that calculation, and my number was $750. And I stick to it, and I'm sticking to it now, and I'll stick to it forever. But the point is that, it is your choice at your company what you do, and nobody can take that choice away from you. They can criticize it, they cannot buy it, but they can't take that choice away from you. And that was the greater point I made to politicians, that, oh, if you don't like it, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to do price controls? Are you going to try to stop me from being a capitalist? That's not going to work. I can price this drug for $1,000 a pill or $20,000 a pill. I picked $750 because I knew that would maximize my result. I would have insurance coverage, but I also would have patients. If you price it too much, you're not going to have any patients. So we had the perfect sort of price where everybody wins. The company wins, the patients still get their drug, and the insurance pays. And with that increased earnings, I can get a backup supply chain. I can make more patients aware of the drug. I can help educate physicians. I can do more clinical trials. A lot of other benefits that come. One thing to say finally is I never took a salary from the company I worked at. All that Daraprim money, none of it went to me. I didn't get $1 of salary. So ultimately, this was all for naught. And I think that sort of shows where I was here. If I wanted the money, I would have taken a salary. I would have taken a dividend. I would have gotten some financial remuneration for it, but I did not.
It was funny to watch too, because a lot of people are not happy with politicians and how people run this country. And you sort of it seemed like they were trying to scare you down and you just didn't budge.
In WikiLeaks, the email leak with Hillary Clinton's staff is, they said that they were surprised that I didn't back down after they ran their advertising campaign, and that I doubled down on my position. So that was straight from WikiLeaks. I never was meant to see that email, but it's in the WikiLeaks if you want to look it up.
I won't be going to WikiLeaks. Not a fucking shot. Martin, I want to ask you about Martin. I can't Shkreli in you. You ever heard of that?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Well, what happened with that? Let's just go there. I'm the Walmart return department. I've got receipts on top of receipts. People are DMing me. So yeah, let's see if the stories match up here, Martin. So talk to us about Martin Shkreli in you.
Sure. It's an ERC20 token. It's used in a piece of software that I helped create called Drug-like, which is a computational chemistry software company and sort of general software company that I started or helped start. And yeah, it's an ERC20 token. What do you want to know about it?
This guy's good. This guy's slippery. You got to be careful with the Martins of the world.
Really? Why don't we have to be careful about the Alexes of the world?
Oh, you definitely got to be careful with the Alexes. I don't use examples for things. I very direct.
What makes me slippery, Dick?
Okay. Well, you don't go into detail.
What detail?
Normally,
I'm telling you, what do you want to know about it? I said what it is. You asked what it is. I said it's an ERC20 token. What do you want to know?
Did you ever sell any of this token?
So I was hacked, as I think what you're alleging.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, there's the elephant.
Well, it's not the elephant because
slippery.
It's a joke.
there's a lot.
It's a meme, Alex. It's a meme.
There's a lot to the token. If you're asking me about the hack, then yes, I was hacked, and the token that I had was sold by a malicious entity, and we have been able to buy all those tokens back, and I'm happy to sort of answer any question about it. In fact, I did Twitter Spaces when it happened. So when you say I'm slippery, I really want to know what you mean.
Well, it took a while for you to address the elephant in the room. I had
What
to be
elephant
very
in the
direct.
room? Which one?
The hack of 160
I
billion.
addressed it immediately when it happened. I was on Twitter Spaces an hour after it happened. You're asking me about it months after it happened.
Well,
Which I was also there for. It's just fucking ridiculous.
okay. Well, okay. Look, the media could be wrong. People.
It sounds like you think more like them than any independent thinker.
Well, hang on. I've got to ask questions. If you don't like that I ask questions, you know what this red question mark stands for?
No, it's natural to ask questions, but you seem to have a conclusion pre sort of figured.
No, you're very well spoken, and for that very reason, I have to be very careful.
I'm really not. I'm a kid from Brooklyn that grew up in the hood. I'm not well spoken. I went to City College. I'm just the degen like you.
I mean, that's exactly what a well-spoken person would say. Exactly what I'm not well-spoken. No,
I'm from a poor Albanian immigrant family. I did not do that well at school. I'm nowhere near well-spoken.
Well, look, we got Machi up here. I don't even think that motherfucker graduated college. Machi, do you know who Martin is?
Yeah, I do. He's famous, man. Yeah. I'm listening to him talk. I like him. But
Oh,
for sure.
Oh,
Yo,
no.
hey, I don't know what you invited me up here for, man. Like,
well, dude, you're supposed to be this old head and the DeFi and all this. I'm like,
I said I like the guy. I listened to him talk just for 30 minutes now. I like the guy. He sounds cool. But for sure, this motherfucker slippery. he dude, the guy's got the gift of gab. Yeah. I mean, whatever. I'm not really vulnerable, so I don't worry about talking to people like that. But yeah, I could see him being a cult leader. No problem. He's rough. This guy can talk.
the timing of him coming back to media is very. You don't see any coincidences here, Martin. Look, I've got my tinfoil hat.
I got a 4.5 year
Doritos. I've got my Mountain Dew. I've got my keyboard. I'm gonna pontificate, Martin. I will be pontificating.
I got a 4.5 year jail sentence. The day I got out, I was able to come home. I didn't stay there.
Okay.
It's no coincidence. I got out the day they let me out.
When did you get out?
I was out May 18th, and funny enough, it's a good story. I noticed that a bunch of people are making ERC20 tokens with my name on them. So I said, please stop doing this. I may want to be in the crypto industry. Don't make an ERC20 token. I'm not endorsing this. And then I realized that I couldn't stop these people. And that when I showed up in the Telegram room, they were like, holy, it's Shkreli, this is great. And then they aped the token even harder. And I was like, no, don't do this. Stop aping. And they're like, ape, let's do this, bro. And I decided to actually make software.
That's the
it is. And I had no idea. I was just reading about this stuff from prison. I had no clue about this Telegram culture. And then, I said, you know what I could do to help this situation is actually make useful software. So if you look at the software I made, which people don't take the time to do, but we've worked really, really hard to make this extremely sophisticated software called Druglike. You can go to druglike.com right now and try it. It's very complicated what it does. It takes two molecular entities and it calculates the free energy of that molecular ensemble. And it's never been done before that this software has been available online. In fact, our software is free. The rival software is $50,000. It's being gatekept by pharmaceutical companies and people like that. So if you want to discover a new drug or a new medicine or a new molecule, it's very hard to do. So we decided we wanted to make that process much cheaper, if not free. So our software is free to use. It costs a lot of computational energy to do. So we limit it to 10,000 molecules. But if you want to screen a million...
That sounds good, Martin, but the people you're talking to won't even read a thread, man. So,
yeah, we're not reading
I don't
this
know.
is okay, Machi.
Well,
look at this.
Why we get into that.
Hang on, Machi.
Well, you asked about my software.
Okay,
you don't want me to answer it?
Well,
you asked about
You
asked about MSI. You asked about Martin Shkreli. I'm telling you what it does. And now you're saying,
I'm bored. You got
bored.
hacked for 162 billion. I mean, if there's no evidence, there's no evidence. What is evidence?
So you asked me what it.
Hang on. There's evidence of you not being on Twitter. June was actually your last appearance, and then yesterday.
Whoa! What?
June.
I'm sorry. You're telling me that you know the day I got out of jail better than I do?
No. I'm saying the tweet you put out was in June, July, August, September, October, and now we're in November. Almost half a year away from Twitter. And then you say, well, hello there. And then you double down.
I don't know if you followed the saga, but I've been
He was
banned from Twitter.
yeah. This is
Oh,
so
okay.
Dude, you're an
this
idiot.
is
You're
so
kind of an idiot,
silly,
dude.
man.
Why am I here?
I don't know.
You're
I'm
Yo, can I
sorry,
ask you-
Martin.
Sort of an
I'm
idiot.
sorry.
No, you're coming back, and you're fudding FTX, but you're shilling Binance. You're gonna say, oh, I just got unbanned from Twitter, just coincidentally.
He
you are too
was,
dumb for me to
though.
talk to.
He was.
Okay,
You-
okay.
you
Well,
don't
then how did
deserve
you wait?
10
And
minutes
how
with
did
me.
you- How did you get unbanned from Twitter?
I literally am on a secret account that I'm gonna get banned from in any day now. I've been banned 20 times.
Okay, how did you get unbanned on this
I
account?
didn't get unbanned. This is somebody else's account. It's gonna get banned any day now. I guarantee it.
Okay, I didn't know
I'm
you were
not supposed to
operating
be
on.
on
I didn't know
Twitter.
How am I supposed to know you're operating on an alternate account?
Well, you can ask the question instead of
Oh, yeah,
conjuring
I'm-
some crazy conspiracy theory.
I think you're gonna
I'm
try
sure
to
you think you
ridicule.
do.
No, yeah, no. I think you're
You think I'm a
ridicule what I'm
Binance
saying. No.
spy?
Yeah, you think it's funny. You think it's funny. I mean, look, it lines up. It lines up with what I'm saying.
Listen, you
So,
probably believe
it's interesting.
in QAnon. You probably believe vaccines are bad for you and cause autism. You probably believe all this.
No, I didn't. Anyways, you can try to ridicule. You can try to poke fun.
I think you ridicule
anyways,
yourself.
I had no idea you're using an alternate account. It's
You don't know
weird
what
that they would.
I mean. A smart person sits back and asks the question instead of conjuring the conspiracy theory that I'm here to spread FUD about FTX. I don't give a f- about FTX or Binance or anything else.
Then why are you retweeting Binance?
I think it's what's happening right now, don't you? This is the most momentous moment in crypto history, and people are discussing it. I'm discussing Bankman. I'm discussing all this stuff. I'm getting thousands of viewers on it. I was on Up Only the other day. People are interested in my take on this. Yeah, I
Like,
can't.
listen,
I can't handle
listen.
this guy.
I don't give a f- who
The
you can handle.
shilling villain.
I don't give a f- who you can
wait,
handle. No, I don't give a f- who this guy. The
Okay,
problem is he
just
can't
one
answer
You're a
second.
simple as fuck
moron.
questions.
Please.
You're a
He
moron.
hides
From the f***ing real truth. I'm like, what about
Alright,
this
boys.
token, Martin? Oh, I don't know. What about it? I have no. Yeah, you got
Alex,
hacked for
hold on,
162
man.
billion
Alex,
fucking
Alex.
tokens.
Okay,
How about you
listen.
just address the elephant in the room instead
People
of
get
trying to
hacked,
fucking
dude.
discover it?
I'm glad I got hacked for. I'd rather get hacked for $400,000 that I could replace, which I did, than get hacked for
Look, if I
don't know
ask
$400 million.
dumb questions like, "Hey, you haven't tweeted in 6 months," and you ridicule it like, "Oh, well, I'm using an alternate account."
That's
You
not.
fucking know
Hold
how-
on.
like, who the f- knows?
There is
A lot of
way
people
too much.
know.
Yo.
Instead of living in
Question
ignorance,
instead of ridiculing.
Instead
Instead
of-
of ridiculing, why don't you fucking educate, Martin?
I'm trying, but you're the
No,
one who
you
said,
don't.
"Isn't
Oh,
it?"
you don't know this is
You
an
have-
alternate
No.
account. Like I'm supposed to know that. Who the fuck's supposed to know that? Nobody knows that.
Hello, boys.
No. Wait till
Mark and
Martin,
Dreesen
wait till
has
I can't wait
time.
till the NFT meetup. NFT NYC. We'll shake hands.
Can I ask an actual palate cleansing question for Martin?
No, you can't.
NFTs
No.
are all worthless, by the way. So I'm
Yeah,
not
no,
gonna
that's why
NFT
I'm excited to meet up.
What?
I'm
That's
excited
not
to show
true.
you
That's
my
not
work
true.
with them.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Every
NFT is art. It's not worthless. All right.
Every
Not worthless.
JPEG NFT will go to zero. Every single one.
Okay.
Let's pass it off to Sphinx. Do you know who Martin is? Because this isn't his real account. This is an alternate account. If you didn't know, you should have known.
My real account has been banned for 7 years.
Yeah,
A lot
I'm
of
sorry
people
you're
know that.
irrelevant, dude. Like, what do you want me to do? I didn't even know who the f- you were. Like, what do you want me to do? I once was tweeted at by Hillary Clinton. You don't know who that is? Yeah, I performed security for her. Do you know who I am? No, you don't. So let's go over to Sphinx.
All right. Hello there. I have arrived. Oh no, I've been here the whole time. Sorry. So yeah, I wanted to say just a couple of things. I'm not gonna focus on the I don't think it's really an accurate analogy with Facebook making so many millions of dollars when, drug companies can't make money because, when Facebook makes money, people don't die. But when a drug company, I'm just saying, Martin, I'm
If
not
drug,
gonna-
if drug companies,
Whoa,
if-
1 second, Martin.
if drug
Go on,
companies don't make money,
Martin,
then people do die.
Martin, just go on mute for a minute and I'm going to let you. I'm not coming at you, bro. Just hold on. Go on mute for a minute there. Thank you. It's all love in here. All love. Okay, so I'm just giving the other perspective here. So it comes out fair. It's just fair. So anyway, that was the argument that when the price gets jacked up from $13.50 per pill to $7.50 per pill overnight, when that drug takes pennies on the dollar to make.
It doesn't. You're wrong. You're wrong about that.
Hold on, Martin. That's where. However, that's not what I want to focus on, because I don't know a lot about this.
But you want to get your. You want to make sure you get your ignorance
Hold on, Martin. I'm not on an alt account. Let me finish. I'm gonna let you finish. Okay, I'm not hating on you. Just relax.
I just allowed to respond to you.
No, you will, but I need to finish.
But you want to make a different point.
Martin.
Yes, lady. Listen.
Martin. Just hold on. I'm almost
when
done.
You make point one about pharma, and then you're going to go on to something else. Let me finish about
you're going to remember it. You're a smart guy. Remember, don't worry about
then please go on your soliloquy. I'll be quiet.
Thank you. Okay. The other thing I wanted to say, though, which is much more interesting, but and by the way, that was not an accusation, Martin, because I'm the first to say that I'm not an expert in the drug industry. Okay, so I wanted to say that. I wanted to voice the other opinion, but say that I'm not accusing you of anything, and I do fundamentally believe that the pharmaceutical industry should be able to make money. But I was pointing out that argument that was made specifically about your situation. However, I got a text at the beginning when you first came on by a friend of mine who's a manager in the music industry, who said that apparently Method Man, was sitting at his desk one day and he got a call from TMZ, and TMZ wanted a comment from him about what he thought about this album of theirs that you had acquired, I believe, on auction. I don't know the details, but let me look. It says, as far as I know, MM did not reply. So you want to tell us about what happened with the whole Wu-Tang Clan and the U.S. government taking over that precious album of yours that you got in auction? And because I think that's a very interesting story. I'm just curious. So thank you. Okay. I'm going on mute.
Okay, so just with respect to pharmaceutical companies, you're right that if Facebook overprices their ads, nobody's going to die. But if pharmaceutical companies don't make money, then everybody's going to die. So they do need to make money. And that's my point, is that it's very important for pharma to make money, because otherwise they won't make drugs. And without drugs, we won't have medicine. And medicine has established the ability for us to have a lifespan of 80 or 90 years. Meanwhile, before medicine existed, it was a 30 or 40-year lifespan. So to me, it's the most important industry. It does the most important things of any industry, period. The Wu-Tang album is being played for you right now.
Not what I asked for. Not what I asked for.
Martin, don't play, man.
No. You're not the DJ.
Yeah. Martin, you must be. Hang on, Martin. You must be hanging out with the wrong MFers. You must be lost. I think you're lost.
She asked me.
Wait, you're really
about the album.
lost. I don't know who unmuted you. Look, I don't give. You got a blue check mark. I don't know if you are Martin. But you can't interrupt people in this stage. Everyone's an equal. Whether you're famous, unfamous. It sounds to me you suffer from entitlements. 3 to be direct. You've got the OG status. 10 years ago I was famous. You got the rich. The fortune entitlement. I got all these millions from this Martin NU, but it got hacked. And you got the fame one. I once had a tweet from Hillary Clinton. So we need to strip those entitlements. We need to just treat everyone as an equal, and we can have civil conversation. We'll just go one by one.
Alex.
Well, she asked me about the album, so I just wanted to show that I still have the album.
Yeah, Martin,
but you're